Have you heard of storm chasers? Recently, a couple of international storm chasers were in the Philippines during Tino and Uwan. One of them is James Reynolds, a man who sees an opportunity to tell a story from the most dangerous and life-threatening storms the world faces.
My work is quite simple. I am indeed a storm chaser, and my primary mission is to get into the areas which are going to be most impacted by a typhoon ahead of time before the typhoon arrives. Embed myself, set myself up there, and then basically broadcast and transmit to the world everything that I am observing. And the large typhoons in particular always get my attention because their effects are felt over such a wide portion of the country. So I knew this was going to be an important storm to cover, a dangerous storm to cover. It was going to impact a lot of people. As it happens, I was already here in the country covering Typhoon Tino in Leyte 1 week ago. And this is often the case when I come to the Philippines. Unfortunately, you get hit by so many typhoons. I come for one storm and end up staying for another one.
Before Uwan made landfall, James and his partner Mark Thomas headed to a hotel in Baler, Aurora to set up their operations, believing it to be the safest location to document the super typhoon.
The waves were breaching over the top of the seawall in Baler, but the seawall did a great job of protecting that waterfront area. But it was still hazardous. Some of those waves were coming over and crashing into the hotel, strong enough to sweep people off their feet if they were caught in them. But people were keeping good spirits, as always in the Philippines. It's prepare physically and mentally for these storms. So always the way I feel when I come here, just very impressed with the resilience, the toughness of the local people I'm with when a typhoon is approaching.
But why does he do this? Why go where storms are strongest when people typically flee from them?
I'm a very curious person at heart, and my curiosity has led me down this path where I find myself, 20 years after witnessing my first typhoon. I think a large part of that was growing up in a country which doesn't receive major weather or geological events in the UK. The weather there is pretty benign and calm most of the time. So actually being exposed for the first time to the tremendous forces of nature that we see in the Western Pacific and in the Philippines especially, really just ignited this burning curiosity inside me to witness more of these kind of phenomena.
The first typhoon he ever witnessed was Haitang back then when he was living in Taipei, Taiwan in July 2005.
Is seared into my mind. It's one of those kind of pivotal moments in my life, as crazy as that sounds. And it all happened by accident when I was living in Taipei in Taiwan as a language student. A very, very large typhoon happened to be coming towards the country when I was there, and I was just like, wow, I've never seen so much energy, such a quick change in the weather as what you get when a typhoon rain band sweeps over you. And from then on, that was really the moment where I was like, I need to see more of this.
I've never seen this before.
And we're in the path of the thing.
And we're in the path of this. We're in the path of that core.
Of the many storms he's chased, Reynolds said that Super Typhoon Yolanda, which devastated the Philippines in 2013, was one that stayed with him since.
I think the most impactful moment which is stuck in my mind was in Tacloban 12 years ago during Super Typhoon Yolanda. Just when we had chosen a building, like I just mentioned, a magnificent, solid hotel, concrete, 4 floors, so lots of elevation. Everything seemed to be under control for us. And then the moment when the storm surge started coming into the city, and then the chaos and the death and destruction that started to bring, it was a moment which I'll never forget. A very important reminder for us as storm chasers that things can and do go wrong, and the stakes are very high. If you make a mistake or things do go wrong, you can end up in serious trouble. It's a core part of who I am. What I do is, it's part of my identity, so to speak, is I'm the guy who goes into the typhoons and documents them. Again, I never planned it to be that way, but that's the way it is. And I think it's the way it always will be until I physically can't do it anymore.